Hello and welcome to week 3 of dealing with the Australian curriculum. Educators in the 21st century have been faced with many changes in the schooling system, but none so big as the Australian curriculum being brought on board. Over the past 3 weeks, we've been discussing the literacy strand. This week we are moving on to numeracy. We're looking at the foundation level and more specifically measurement and geometry and shape. Learners in this age group are required to be able to sort, describe and categorise two-dimensional and three-dimensional shapes in the classroom and in their surrounding environment. This can present many potential challenges to children. Specifically, coming into the foundation year, children can have quite a prototypical view of shapes, as in a triangle has 3 equal sides with the top point facing up, or a rectangle is very long and a square is very short or very small. It is an educator's legal obligation to provide an education for all of the learners in the classroom and provide an environment where they can achieve the outcomes highlighted within the Australian curriculum. To overcome this challenge, specifically today, I wanted to discuss with you something we call the Shape Companion. This is a fantastic toolbox for teachers to use multiple different resources to combat the challenge of prototypical views of shapes. Introducing the Shape Companion. This toolbox will assist all classroom teachers in providing that environment where their children can succeed and can achieve ACARA's set outcomes. The Shape Companion uses a toolbox of different resources that assist in sorting, describing and naming familiar two-dimensional shapes and three-dimensional objects within the classroom and in the environment. This addresses what I've already discussed as the potential challenge that learners may have a prototypical view of shapes and are unable to acknowledge or categorize the same shape in different ways. The Shape Companion includes a wooden shape set, a wooden tangram box, assorted magnetic shapes and magnetic boards, Colours and Shapes Advanced Set, which is the differentiation activity for more advanced learners, as I'll discuss in further detail later, a CD with interactive whiteboard games, iPad application, and the Shape Song, a class set of shape posters, a Create a Shape set, which includes Play-Doh, matchsticks, crayons, and activity sheets, a class photo book, where children can create their own design using shapes, photograph them, put them within the photo book, and then it can be used as a task for all other children to imitate or copy the shapes created by their peers. A Hidden Shapes activity, which allows learning managers to delegate a shape to a child, and then that child has to excavate through water or salt or sand to find the shape within the hidden tray. And also a Feely box, which is full of different shapes and different sizes of shapes, and a deck of shape cards that children can use in the classroom to work in pairs, singularly or collaboratively, to identify shapes just using their hands. Now, let's cross over to Maddie in the studio to get a first-hand look at what the Shape Companion is all about. We have many different things within this toolbox, and each focusing on a different ability level, each being able to be used individually, in partnerships, small groups, or even as a whole class. To begin with, we have this set of shapes at the back here. These shapes are used in what we call a Feely box, and children put their hands into the box and are either asked to pull out a shape with 4 sides. So you can start very basic, pull out a shape with round edges, You can move on to pull out a small triangle, pull out a large triangle. There's many different ways you can do it. We also include a deck of cards for partnership work, where the children can work with each other, and one of the learners will pull a card from the top of the deck, and it will say what shape is on it, and then they will have to tell their partner how they want them to find it. So, for example, the student will take the first card, and it will be a triangle, and that student can either opt to say find a triangle, or for more advanced students, they could say find a shape with 3 points, or find a shape with 3 edges, or find a small, large, etc., etc. So it's a really versatile resource. We also have down the bottom here, it's called a tanagram box, and it comes with different shapes, wooden shapes, and what we use with this, they're double-sided, which is fantastic, and each child can work in a partnership again, or singularly, or we can work as a teacher modelling it to the children, and they have to imitate the shapes using the designs, using the shapes provided. This shows children that there is many different ways in which a shape can be used. So you've got your small triangles and your large triangles, and you've got your triangles sideways and your rectangles long ways, and upside and horizontal and vertical. So it highlights to learners the abilities that they have already in matching up shapes in a non-prototypical sense. And also a very important aspect of the resource kit is that of digital resources. We included a Shape Companion CD-ROM. On this CD, we have multiple digital resources, including interactive whiteboard games that can be implemented in the whole class numeracy sessions. There's also an iPad membership and password application, which is a fantastic resource to use in rotations, small group rotations, using class sets or school sets of iPad. There is a song on there. The song highlights different shapes that can be seen in the environment. Another aspect or resource that we've included within the Shape Companion is this Create a Shape box. Within the box we have Play-Doh, matchsticks, rope, and other manipulative materials that children can use with their hands to physically create a shape. Again, you could use the deck of cards that was used in the first session, or you could choose to ask the children to come up with the shapes on their own. They're then to manipulate the materials to match the shape that's been assigned to them. This shows children that other peers may view the shapes in a different way. One peer may do a circle this large, and then one peer may do a circle this large. However, they're both still a circle, and the attributes of the circle is one round edge, etc., etc. So they begin to associate the attributes of the shape rather than the design or how the shape actually looks to them. An extremely important part in the classroom is to differentiate for different levels of learners. So while this challenge of viewing shapes in one way may be applicable to a lower level of learner, it can still affect a higher ability group within the classroom. Children may not be able to see a shape and separate it from another whilst seeing the whole picture. So what we've included is this fantastic 9 square board games. These can be used with dice or individually, again, collaboratively. What it does is it makes the child think in an abstract way about shapes. So you've got your 9 squares here, each with an array of shapes within them. So, for example, if we go to the middle blue square here, the child has to identify what shapes they can see within the square. So it would be a square, the orange triangle, and then also these 2 blue triangles. This allows children to challenge themselves while still having these other resources to develop all levels of learners. The rationale for mathematics in the Australian curriculum highlights that Students that express numeracy capabilities will succeed in their personal, work and civic life. The foundational knowledge developed in the early years is what is used to build on and structure the later learning of mathematics. So without addressing issues and challenges such as the one the shape continuum addresses, learning managers are failing to set up their children for their future learning. Teaching mathematics foundation to middle years identifies that learners need to interact with mathematical concepts in both a physical and a digital way. This ensured that learners were understanding mathematics from multiple dimensions, and this is evident in our Shape Companion through the use of our CD-ROM, which offers learning managers interactive whiteboard games, iPad applications, and even songs to use with their children. But also we've got things such as the Feely box, where children are relying on their hands rather than their sight, and the creator shape, where children are manipulating Play-Doh and matchsticks. These provide learning experiences where learners can explore concepts of mathematics and explore the concepts of shape through multiple senses, thus developing a sound knowledge to build from in their future learning of mathematics. Another fundamental aspect of a successful mathematic learning environment is the incorporation of learning experiences where learners can work individually, in partnerships, collaboratively, small groups, and whole class contexts. This is supported by Eric Snowman in Psychology Applied to Teaching, where it's stated that learners that are able to interact with their peers whilst developing foundational knowledge are expressing their ideas whilst also understanding and listening to their peers' ideas about a concept. This is provided through all of the resources in the Shape Companion, as they can all be differentiated to be suited to individual, small group, or whole class contexts. George Booker, in Building Numeracy, identifies the need for intervention processes in mathematics that address the misconceptions that learners have. We believe that our Shape Companion toolbox addresses these misconceptions whilst also building and developing the knowledge that learners already possess. Prototypical views of shapes can be a valuable understanding to have, as long as learners are aware of the fact that shapes have attributes. They may look different in colour, shape, or size, but essentially they are the same shape if they fulfill the attributes of that shape. The Shape Companion allows learners to interact with this concept, and it does it in a fun and engaging way where learners feel comfortable and safe, and essentially this is what will develop the knowledge needed to carry on into their future education. Buying the Shape Companion will guarantee that your learners will have the most opportunity to develop and be mathematically competent. As an educator myself, I know that's something that I would want.